Hi friends, it is Tuesday, August 8th. We just had our Board of Supervisors meeting. It began at 9 o'clock and ended at about 1:10. I want to thank Carol Brichta for coming to lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance. She has served Pima County for 35 years. And I just want to thank you for all of your service, and I'm so glad that you were able to join us so we can publicly thank you and applaud you for all of your work. Thank you to Naomi de la Rosa Arellano for reading our land acknowledgement. She is our newest D5 member. She's working part-time with constituent services and going to neighborhood associations and community events. So thank you so much, Naomi, for that. I want to thank Santos Alvarez for accepting and representing the Lions Club International for the centennial year of the Lions Club. We had a proclamation, and I wanted to thank him for coming. Muchas gracias, Santos. Thank you to Naomi Vega, CEO and founder and advocate for Enlightening Hope Project. For today, we proclaim the day Thursday, August 31st, to be Overdose Awareness Day in Pima County, and I want to thank you for all of your work and for coming. Call to the Audience had 23 speakers. Every speaker that has put in a card was able to speak, and we made some changes. Once we hit 20 speakers, it goes from 3 minutes to 2 minutes, but everyone is able to speak. So there was a speaker that came up and said, we're cherry picking who's going to speak, and I was able to confirm that everyone who puts in a card is able to speak. We discussed the 2024 legislative agenda for Pima County. So what that means is this is what our lobbyists, our departments are going to be advocating for, our county administrator is going to be advocating for at the state level for changes that are to be made. It's resolution number 2023-36. And so if you look, I would say give it maybe 2 days, because there were a couple of changes made from the dais. And I do want to say that we were able, District 5, to put in some legislative requests. And we went through the same process that other departments do. We put in 9 requests, and of the 9, 5 of them were incorporated in some way into our legislative agenda. So I want to thank our D5 team for all of their advocacy and work, specifically Keith Bagwell for putting in all of this paperwork. One of the items that we passed on the dais and then had to reverse, it had to do with some legal advice regarding, not that we couldn't have gone forward the way we did, but because we submitted our items to the agenda as additional information below the 24-hour threshold for posting, the advice was to bring the item back. The item did pass 3-2, so we will see it on our legislative agenda for Pima County, and that is advocating for full funding for kindergarten. In 2010, then Governor Brewer recommended a $213 million cut to public education in the form of full day kindergarten. And so all of our districts either at that time started asking families to pay for the other half of kinder or absorb the cost themselves. And it's a significant impact to every district that has kinder. And so what this will do is it will provide the state to pay for something that they should have been paying for all along, and give the discretion to our districts to be able to utilize that money for more scholarships for preschool, for additional reading interventions. I mean, it's just going to be a positive. And the fact right now is that Pima County is paying $10 million a year for preschool. And so if our districts were able to take on that cost, then that's something that Pima County could lessen its impact in, should we choose to. I, for one, would not want to do that. I think that we need to dedicate more funding, but we could do other things. And so I think that it's important that we advocate for that, and we'll see that coming back on our agenda on the 21st of August. We have the Tohono O'odham Nation. We had an item to accept their shared revenue funds, and so Pima County will be the pass-through for those funds that go out to so many community organizations. Just last month, we approved $147,000 to Pueblo High School for their cafeteria from shared revenue funds, not the Tohono O'odham Nation. This was the Gila River, but what this allows us to do is make sure that we are the standard pass-through. We don't have to approve all of those individually, so I think that that would be great. This is The revision to the merit system rule, that was something that, let me talk a little bit about what the merit commission is. So employees that feel like they have been wronged, their supervisor gave them, a really harsh penalty, suspension for a day or two, a week without pay, being terminated for different things. The merit commission is made up of individual appointments from each of the supervisorial offices, and the county attorney's office has someone there to help, to help advise and represent Pima County. But it's a group of people that listen to all of the facts and make decisions as to whether the discipline was too harsh or not. And so I think this item has come up because we had several corrections officers that went to the merit commission and consequences were reversed because they refused to take a vaccine. But we also have other situations that are pretty serious. And my frustration with the process is we don't have an employee relations office. We don't have any other mechanism by which employees have advocates other than HR. And so what I really want to see is for us to have a better evaluation, to have better meet and confer process with our employee groups, to really create better partnerships with our employee groups, because nobody wants somebody who is a danger to coworkers, to the community at large, someone who is not a good steward of Pima County to be working in our county departments. None of us do. I don't want to be working with someone that I know is a danger or someone who is being unethical. But we don't have a solid evaluation mechanism by which to go through. And I think what we're trying to do by establishing these changes in the merit system rules, it's trying to address that gap of services and advocacy in a way that I didn't agree with. So on item 12, that was a revision to the Merit System Rule 8, promotion, demotion, reappointment, open range reappointment. This basically gives a lot of authority to the Sheriff's Department to be able to change reappointments, detail, reassignment, that kind of thing. And I had some concerns about that. Unfortunately, I voted no, and the item passed. And so Supervisor Bronson and I voted no on that item. Item number 13, which had a lot of attention as well, is a revision to Merit System Rule 14, Merit System Commission Appeals. That item is going to be coming back to the board on September 5th with more information, and hopefully based on some of the discussion that we had in executive session, we'll get some clarification from the dais. So that process took a lot of time. We had an executive session that was about 45 minutes, and so I think that it's good for us to revise that. And elections had an item. It was elections and the county recorder. It's basically software equipment like printers, cartridges, iPads. Those are the expenses that we have with Tenant. And I don't know what the controversy was about it, but the item did pass. I believe it passed 4-1 with Supervisor Christie voting no. And we also had an item to reconsider the class and compensation study that was approved unanimously last time the board met. This item was brought forward by Supervisor Christie. He can reconsider the item because he voted in the affirmative with the majority, so he asked that the item be reconsidered. And the way I was advised and also asked legal from the dais, what we have to do first is vote to whether reconsider or not. If that item passes, then we vote to, we put the item, we motion and second to reconsider, and then we have discussion. So this item did not pass. The item failed 3-2 with Supervisors Christie and Bronson voting in favor to reconsider, and Supervisors Scott, Hines, and myself voted no. So there was no other discussion. So there was some sort of a little bit of debate, and you can tell some frustration, which I appreciate if you don't get to say your piece and explain your position. But that was the legal advice that I received. I asked during the meeting, just to be clear, we vote on whether to reconsider. And then we vote on the item to reconsider. but we have to consider whether we want to vote or not. It's a little bit confusing, but I just wanted to explain why I didn't allow my colleagues to have dialogue, because we voted to not move forward to discuss the item. And if I allow my colleagues to explain their votes on an item that does not exist on the agenda because we didn't vote to reconsider it, then we're having a discussion about an item that we're not considering. And that, to me, is where we have issues with open meeting law. And I could allow someone to comment, but then someone else would want to comment, and now we have a debate for an item that is really not on our agenda anymore because we didn't vote to reconsider it. So I hope that explains. If you were watching the meeting, it may have looked like I was not allowing people to have a discussion, but that's really what that was about. And we have a couple of announcements. And so we have the Somos D5 strategic plan. We've been working on updating our strategic plan. Our office has a strategic plan to help guide policies and put forward by the office and ensure community guidance. And that is actually those items that we put forward for consideration on the legislative agenda are a direct result of this work. The policy priorities are education, climate resiliency, housing people can afford, and healthy and safe communities. Please review and provide any input on that plan. Please visit Adelita S Grijalva.com/strategic plan 2023 to download the drafted plan and provide any feedback at all. 2024 Friends of Pima Animal Care Center calendar contest. Please submit your favorite pet photos, get votes, and help secure support for our pack pets. This contest runs from August 1st through August 31st. Check out the amazing prizes and opportunities to reserve a special day in the calendar for your pet. Hurry, as squares are limited. And if you go to all of our social media, we'll have slides on all of these or posts on all of these. West Side Fuga Bike Ride. This is in D5. Fuga is Families United Gaining Accessibility is hosting their second Sunday bike ride on Sunday, August 13th at 8 a.m. out of the Ward 1 office, which is located at 940 West Alameda Street. And that is Councilmember Elaine Santa Cruz's office. It is a great opportunity to ride with the group and advocate for safer streets for all. The South Side, this is on our South Side, Sunnyside Foundation food box distribution. Sunnyside Foundation's monthly food distributions are back. They will pack and give out 200 food boxes at Desert View High School from 3 to 6 p.m. on Tuesday, August 29th. If you would like to volunteer, please call or email 520-460-2183 or ktoledo@sunnysidefoundation.org. We're hoping D5 staff members are going to be there helping out, so that'll be a lot of fun, and many hands make light work. On Sunday, August 27th, we're going to be at the third and overdose annual event. This is going to be located at 1200 North Country Club Road. There's going to be a lot of services there for community members, and I hope you will make it there. I do want to give a personal shout out and acknowledgement to my dad, Congressman Raul Grijalva. He is currently right now at the Grand Canyon with President Biden, with Secretary Deb Haaland, with our governor. He has worked for over 2 decades in trying to protect the Grand Canyon. And today, President Biden will establish a national monument preserving the ancestral tribal land around the Grand Canyon. Thank you so much for all of your dedication and hard work. Generations of Arizonans and the world over are going to be able to go and visit the Grand Canyon, a protected Grand Canyon, because of a lot of the work that you've done. I love you, Dad. Okay, so our next board meeting is going to be weird. It's going to be on a Monday, August 21st. So it is the one day that we have to do it on a Monday because of some sort of tax vote or something. And so please tune in. Thanks so much for all of your time, friends, and for keeping up with Pima County politics.